Hi. So today I'm going to talk about some of the stuff we've been learning in class recently. We've been learning specifically about some advertising and marketing in different forms of media, but today we're specifically going to talk about print media. Something about print media is that you're actually supposed to do something similar to television advertising. You're supposed to have a message strategy and a creative strategy. The message strategy is just like what the ad actually wants to say, and then the creative strategy is the way the ad expresses its claims. Um, you don't want to have one or the other too heavily over the other one. You want to balance. If you focus strictly on the message side of it, everyone's going to know exactly what your product wants and what it's talking about. But no one's going to actually want to look at it and stop to just see what it's actually talking about. But on the other hand, if you just have a creative strategy, then you're going to have everyone looking at your ad, but no one's going to actually know what you're trying to convey. So you have to have a good balance of both to have a successful ad. Um, Print is actually usually looked at with more, it has more truth, people think, and it's less intrusive, and it's more relevant than many other forms of media. Um, for example, like newspapers, a lot of people look there to get their news sources because if you go online, there's a lot of random sites that give actually fake information that seems like it could be real, so it just doesn't seem as honest, maybe. Um, Another thing is that when people are reading your ad, it's really hard to multitask while reading. So instead of people like during a TV commercial talking to their friend or just missing the ad altogether, it's kind of hard to just read the ad but not get anything out of it. You kind of have to focus on it to actually pay attention and read it. So you get more out of the ad that way. Something about newspapers is that only about 30% of the population reads them, and they have a pretty short shelf life because the news changes so rapidly. So they aren't the best form of print media that you can use, but they're still viable. Um, one source of print advertisement that works usually pretty well is magazine advertising because it has a pretty long shelf life for print media, and a lot of the stuff is more colorful and you have just better quality pictures and stuff like that. So it usually works a little bit better that way. Um, the only thing about print advertisement is that only about 10% of the audience actually stops to read even part of an ad. But many people just kind of look through and just look at the pictures that are on the ad. So, for example, like if you're looking through a car ad or something, a lot of people might just stop and look at the car and be like, that's a really cool car, I really like that color, or something like that, but they won't actually stop to read what the features are of the car or anything specific that you want them to know. Now, that's some of the stuff about print advertising. I'm going to go into an analysis of the articles that I thought were good, or the advertisements that I thought were good, and which ones I thought were the best, and what the bad one could improve on. I got the Time magazine with The Mechanic. Overall, a lot of the ads were pretty good. The one that I ended up choosing was the Delta ad right here. Um, I just thought it did a really good job of like saying what it wanted to say and being really eye-catching because the whole page is one big picture. So, and I like airplanes in general, so I just thought it was pretty cool. Something that's at the very top and is really large is canceling cancellations. This just shows that, like, I think the marketer is trying to say that Delta works really hard at not having a lot of canceled flights. 99.9% of their flights are not canceled, according to them, and they're better than everyone else. So that's their competitive advantage of other over other people. Is just that they have the least canceled flights among different U.S. carriers. So they do really well at that, and I thought that was a good way to emphasize their strengths and not worry about any other weaknesses they might have. Some stuff about it that I thought was really cool as well is that they have a plane taking off right there. So it shows that, to me, it signifies that they're not canceling flights. You don't see a lot of planes just sitting around like, oh, sorry, our flight's canceled because of some weird thing with the plane, or maybe it came in late, so this is for the next group of people. But they're very efficient and they have all their stuff going smoothly and they know what they're doing. So I thought that was really cool. Some other stuff is that it's really hard not to know that this is a Delta ad because right down here in this corner is a Delta logo. And this one is Delta, another Delta logo with their actual name. And then even on the airplane, it has the Delta symbol on the body and then the Delta logo on the tail. So I thought they did a really good job of making it very obvious as to who this ad is for and what they do well. Now, on the other hand, the ad that I thought was the worst was this ad by Farxiga. It is a excuse me. It is a type 2 diabetes pill that you can take, and it helps reduce your blood sugar by flushing it through your system. So it seems like a cool product, but some stuff that I didn't like about it is just that, for one, it's 2 pages long, so and it's mostly text, so it just doesn't really catch my eye. It's just like, that's a really long medical-looking topic. I don't really care. It doesn't catch my eye very much. And the name itself, something we learned in Chapter 4 is that the name should be short and sweet and easy to remember, just easy to pronounce. And like if you look at it, it's spelled Farxiga, and I thought it said Farxiga until I read through some of the ad, and it has a little pronunciation key down somewhere in one of the paragraphs. But unless you're really interested in the ad, you're not going to look to see that. So I just thought that was poorly done. Some other stuff that I didn't think was very good about it is that only this paragraph right here and this one top line right here actually talks about what the product does. The rest of it is just warnings of what could go wrong if you take the product. I thought that was really kind of a poor advertising scheme because if you just kind of jump in one of the paragraphs to see, oh, what's this about? It's like, oh gosh, I could get bladder cancer or something else along that line, and that doesn't make me want to take the product. That just makes me want to skip over it. So I didn't think that was very good. Another thing is that the picture I didn't think worked very well with the product itself because it's just a couple people in a car, and it doesn't really relate. I don't think it says anything about type 2 diabetes to me. Something I thought maybe looking at it, maybe it's a sunglasses ad, or maybe it's a ad about vacationing or retirement or something like that. But it just doesn't really do a very good job of saying, hey, we have a type 2 diabetes product. So I didn't think that was very good. And the last big thing that I didn't like was that over here, their logo, it just kind of seems to blend in. Like, to me, their graph stands out more than their product name. And I feel like your product name should be standing out more than anything. So I didn't think that was very good. Some tips that I would give them is probably to make the text smaller for their warnings and maybe make their, like what the product actually does, make that a larger font or change the color or do something to make it stand out more so that people actually like, oh, hey, this is what the product does, this is what's good about it, instead of just like, oh gosh, like I could get all these weird other things just from trying to flush out my sugar, like, because I wouldn't want to buy it for that. But the other thing is that I think they could make their logo larger just to make it easier. And their picture, I think they should change the picture maybe to something like a person eating a candy bar to show that, hey, if you take this product, you don't have to worry about your sugar as much. So, but those are my tips, and thank you for listening. That's my analysis of these articles and just of print. Thank you again for listening, and have a wonderful day.